This video is rated T, or Tickle Me Pink. What's going on YouTube? It's Tickle Me Pink, your least favorite content creator here. Now I know a lot of you guys are just getting into Arena right now or are soon to get into Arena. I have around 60 hours in the first 4 days and I have one of the highest KDs in the world at a high rating. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a tier list for the kits in the game. Now we're not going to start with every single kit in the game because the beginning kits are a joke. You get like a Walmart bag for armor and a Glock as a kit and you unlock it very fast. So we're actually going to start on the tier 5 kit. So if we were to go ahead and pop up Arena here and look at the presets and look into these trees, the first thing I want to explain is you have to go down these trees to unlock kits. If you guys didn't watch my beginner's guide, these rating kits will not progress you, but you probably already know that. So for tier 5 kits, what I mean by that is this row right here, Garden Stargazer would be tier 1, Ratnik, Chappie, Farmer of course would be tier 2, you know, this horizontal axis right here, tier 3, this horizontal axis, tier 4. You'll notice there isn't one, tier 4 one under Ram or between Werewolf. We're going to be starting our kits at the tier 5 level. And the reason for that is because tier 5 is where you start getting pretty well-rounded kits. If we look at Werewolf here for an example, you have an automatic rifle, it has a lot of attachments, you have fairly good ammunition, fairly good armor, you have a headset, you know, you have basically a completed kit. If we were to go back here and look at, let's say, I don't know, the Scout, the tier 2 Scout, like this is, you have a Walmart trash bag as armor and a Glock. All right, so you unlock these early kits very fast. In your first day, you can easily get to a tier 5 level. If you have like a 50% win rate and you play like probably 8 hours, you can get to a tier 5 likely. So that is why we're going to start at the tier 5 level. All right, now that we got all of that out of the way, the only things I want to keep in mind is all of this is subject to change. They are releasing changes relatively fast to Arena. I don't think they're going to make massive overhauls of the kit, but one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that soon Arena and the main game are going to be wiping, and with that, the biggest change, even though we're getting a lot of big changes, the biggest change that's going to affect Arena is the armor hitbox change. So for example, right now the kits with hex grids and altons, they feel like bulletproof. They're by far the best kits in the game. They have a really nice tree to follow all the way through, but when we get the updated armor hitboxes, a hex grid is not going to make these people bulletproof tanks anymore. So keep that in mind. I'll try and remind you as we go through that. So if you're watching this when the Arena wipe happens, then you can keep that in mind for the path you want to go down. The only thing I want to say is just make sure you guys have fun. This is likely, like I said, going to get wiped with the main version of Tarkov, probably in like 2 weeks, likely. So don't feel like if you made the wrong choice, you're doomed. It's okay, you know? I feel like I would have gone down a different tree, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. The only other thing I want you guys to keep in mind is we're going to go from Assault to CQB to Scout and then Marksman. That's how I have them all uploaded here. And other than that, let's start grading these kits. So Werewolf is a tier 5 kit. It's pretty well rounded. However, it has some flaws. The biggest flaw is if you're getting in it to like a mid to late game level, 56A1 just does not have the stopping power it needs. It's also a tracer, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a suppressor. Suppressors are really big in Arena because muzzle flash gives away your position, and because everyone's so close, people can easily refrag you when they see that muzzle flash. Now, having a suppressor is massive, but if you have tracer ammunition, it doesn't really matter because they're still going to know exactly where you're shooting from. This kit also only has a painkiller, like a standard alkaline or whatever they're called, painkillers, just the pills you pop. It's only 80 seconds and you get 1 use. You don't get any other like fast stim, so you can be in a bad pinch with that. And the optic it has is quite bad. Now if you couldn't take the optic off and it influenced your aim quite a lot, then this kit would probably rank lower, but because you can take the optic off, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the B tier. Next kit we're gonna go for is Rock and Roll. Now he is also a tier 5 assault kit, and this kit doesn't look that good at first glance, and it's surprisingly good. Now I'm putting it in C tier because the later you get it, the worse it's gonna be. But you have a high fire rate weapon, which generally assault has a lower fire rate weapons. CQB tends to get higher fire rate weapons, and you combine that with green tips. So the green tips really suck, but if you're able to aim for heads, you can really put a lot of people down with this kit. However, I'm gonna say Werewolf is by far the better of the 2 kits in the tier 5. That being said, Rock and Roll is also a dead end tree. So you have 2 kits below Rock and Roll, but you can't progress all the way to the end of Rock and Roll. So for that reason, I'm also going to rank it at a C tier kit. I'm just trying to keep these factors in mind so you guys don't end up, let's say I ranked Rock and Roll really high, but then you're at a dead end kit. It really sucks for you then, because you can't progress beyond that, right? The next kit I want to talk about is Breeze. He's also a tier 5 assault kit. Now he comes with level 5 armor, which is really good at this level. That armor also comes with full health. You'll see like tier 7 assault kits that have the same armor that don't come with full health. You get an M3 super with Flechette that shoots really fast. A Aug 25, one of the best grenades in the game. You also get an AHF1, which instantly stops bleeds. It's a stimulant. And you get a Vaseline. So that is going to allow you to pre-painkiller. You have 5 minutes of painkiller effect. This kit is super strong. It's on the opposite side of the trees of Werewolf and Rock and Roll, so you'll have to keep that in mind and look down those trees to see which one you want to go. But Breeze is very strong for the assault class. The next kit I want to talk about is Marine. Now Marine is a tier 6 assault kit. The only issues I have with Marine is it doesn't come with a headset and you have standard painkillers. Now, if you yourself hate semi-automatic weapons, then this might sit more like a D tier for you. If you absolutely can't stand semi-automatic weapons, that could be D tier. If you like semi-automatic weapons, that could be an A tier. I think for the overall player, I'm going to say this is B tier. If you're really comfortable point firing, it also comes with a laser and a flashlight combo. I would say it's definitely A tier. The reason I wouldn't put it up in S tier, even if you love the M1A, is it's going to be a dead entry. This comes after Rock and Roll, and there's only one kit after it. Now, for a tier 6 kit, this is super strong. I mean, you get the level 5 armor, you get M62. It's one of the better tier 6 kits in the assault class. But like I said, it's a dead end path. All right, up next is Tutsan. Now this Tutsan comes right after Breeze. Tutsan actually gets a hex grid, as you'll see. It's insane. He has a Salua, which is a far better med than an IFAC or an AFAC. I'm not going to get into that in this video. It just heals faster. It heals more. It's a better med. Just take my word for it. You have high capacity magazines. You don't get drums, but you get 10 rounders. The hex grid really makes this kit. If you like shotguns, if you like the M3 Super, this is just a straight upgrade to Breeze. The reason I'm nervous to put it in S tier, you could move it to S tier. I have had it absolutely destroy me, but I know a lot of players don't like shotguns. Overall, I would say it is an S tier kit, especially if you use the tech to go ahead and take the flashlight off the pistol and mount it to the shotgun. So you have 2 flashlights. Whenever you shine this on people, it's like a deer in front of a car. It's insane. It also comes with 5-minute painkillers and fast stims. By that, I mean it has a Propital, so you have 5 minutes of painkillers and 5 minutes of healing effect, and you have a Zagusin, an instant stop bleed. So this is great to just get really fast on people. Great for hitting flanks. You blind them with your flashlight. You have such good meds and good armor, and it's only a tier 6 assault kit. Now, you need to go down the Breeze tree, which is a lot of shotguns, so you might not like that, but you're gonna get to assault rifles afterwards as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so for tier 7 assault kits, we're gonna start with Pharaoh. It's the one furthest on the left, and it comes after the Werewolf tree. Now, Pharaoh looks really good on first glance. Okay, you get a fairly modified AK, you get a variable optic, we'll talk about that later, 7N40, level 5 armor, but it has a few issues. So you do get a headset. You get no laser on this rifle, which makes it pretty bad close quarters. It's also only shooting 650 rounds. So when you're competing against something that's shooting like 900 rounds, 1,000 rounds a minute, you'll soon realize that you're in a really bad situation. The level 5 armor also comes at half durability. So you effectively have more like level 4 armor. You get standard meds. You don't get like a Propital and a Zagusin and stuff like you did in Tutsan. You just get a standard painkiller like you did with Werewolf once again. And the grenade, you also just get an RGD, which the Vogs are so much stronger in Arena and in the main game as well. There's another issue with Pharaoh, and that's the optic currently. If you guys don't know, Arena is built on an old version of Tarkov, and this optic used to have a problem where this optic is variable. So it goes between a hollow 1x and a flip up 3.5x. So when you're in the hollow 1x form, you're going to get 3.5x visual recoil. So the gun isn't going to kick up 3.5 times as much, but you will get 3.5 times as much visual recoil, which will make it kind of hard to keep your shots on target. Combine this with, this has 7N40 ammunition, and this gun looks like it kicks like a bitch, even though it's not actually kicking. And 7N40 ammunition is also one of the weirdest ammunitions in the game. It's a high tier ammunition that's meant to penetrate. But it has a super high bounce statistic. It has no fragmentation chance. Almost every bullet in the game has between a 15 to 30% fragmentation chance. It basically just doubles the damage. And to combine all this, it has like weird effects like making people bleed more, reducing recoil, and it's just a weird ammunition. The biggest issue is it's not consistent. It's like a endgame ammo I would describe as like M855A1 that is inconsistent. Sometimes I one-tap Altons, sometimes I shoot Altons 8 times and it just bounces left and right. And you could say that about any bullet, but this bullet is particularly inconsistent. So that's why Pharaoh goes in B tier. Now, if they go ahead and upgrade the armor, which I think they will, you gotta keep in mind that this is a tier 7 kit. You know, a tier 6 kit with Breeze has a full Gen 4 armor, and Tutsan has full hex grid. Keep those in mind, then it would make sense for them to upgrade this like a Salua, a Propital, and then fix the magnification issue. Then this kit would probably easily go up to A or maybe even like low S tier. I still have a personal vendetta against 7N40, and not having a laser and a low rate of fire weapon makes it really hard to win in close quarter situations against SMGs if you're not tapping heads. But if you can get beyond that, then this Pharaoh kit could rank much higher. Alright, up next is Lance. He's a tier 7 kit and he's below Marine. So Lance comes with tier 5 armor, and this armor comes lightly damaged. Now, the MDR has seen a ton of nerfs. At one point, it was probably one of the best games in the base version of Tarkov. However, it now has so much recoil. You're running M80s through this, so you don't have the worst recoil ever. If you're running M61s, I feel like it would be absolutely unmanageable. You also don't get a headset with this kit. Now, you do get a stim that's sort of like a fast use PNB or an ETG. Excuse me, I meant to say Propital and ETG, but it's actually PNB. It's a fast use stim that just gives you health regeneration. This kit, in my opinion, is just not very good. I'm gonna go ahead and move it down to C tier. Sometimes I just, you know, slap things up on the board and then talk about them here. But yeah, Lance is just not that good. It's also a dead end kit. Your tactic also does not come with full health, and you have standard meds. So I wish the assault class had somewhat of continuity. Like if you're going down an assault, for example, you'd know you'd have a headset, you'd have good painkillers, but it seems like it goes back and forth. I know that it's a give and take situation. They don't just want to give like a meta kit out, but it's a bit weird sometimes. It's odd to me that CQB has faster fire rate weapons, bigger magazines, better ammunition, and better armor. The only drawbacks are they don't get headsets, but they get face armor, and they also get better painkillers and better meds. So that's a lot to give to one class, in my opinion. I think Assault will probably see some buffs, or CQB will probably see some nerfs. It's probably more realistic than anything. CQB has been dominating, if you guys don't know. Alright, up next is Kalter. Now, Kalter comes after Tutsan, and Kalter is going to go ahead and go straight into S tier. You have an Aug A3 with a suppressor and non-tracer ammunition. Not only is this straight ammunition non-tracer, but it's 5.5A1, so really good piercing ammunition, really well-balanced round. You have a holographic, which is, everyone loves the holographic. It's a great housing. Kits like the Werewolf kit have really bad housing to bring the kit down. You have a fairly meta rifle, and it has a laser and a flashlight combination on it, which is going to up your accuracy. If you guys don't know, when you turn on that laser, your hip fire is significantly more accurate, and the flashlight lets you go ahead and peek people and blind them. It's actually massive to have a laser slash flashlight combo in your kit. You get full level 5 armor, although when this next patch comes out, I should have mentioned in the last one with Tutsan as well, that this isn't going to protect you as much as it does right now. But Kalter overall is an amazing kit. It also comes with a Perfotora, which will allow you to stop all your bleeds instantly. And it also comes with Vaseline, which means at the start of the arena, you can just pop that and your painkiller for the next 5 minutes. Effectively, the entire arena. You never have to worry about painkiller effects. With Werewolf and Pharaoh, there's a lot of times you'll have your leg knocked out and you're sitting there trying to pop your boner pill, your gas station boner pill. You have like 3 seconds on that and you're dead. So Kalter, S tier. You'll notice that Tutsan, Kalter, and Breeze are all in the same tree. They're on Assault on the right-hand side, so this might give you guys some influence to go down the right-hand side if you want to have a lot of effective kits. I would probably go down this tree again in the future, or CQB. But like I said, whenever that change comes into the armor hitboxes, this tier will drop quite a bit. So if you see in the future any kit that has a chest armor like this, where like the shoulders, or not the shoulders, but like your obliques and stuff aren't going to be covered, your collarbone stuff isn't going to be covered, your stomach is going to be covered, these kits will likely drop at least 1 tier, if not 2. We'll have to see how it plans out. I don't have a Magic 8 Ball, and I haven't played that version of the game yet, but I would say they will drop quite a bit for those reasons. On that same note, notice though, we don't know where the armor plates are going to be placed in things like the Gen 4. So I'm assuming that the Gen 4 that they put on these kits will have plates all over where the Gen 4 actually covers. If they don't, then these kits just as much could also fall. So just keep that in mind. It's hard to know. I can't predict the future. Alright, up next is Squall, and this one's going to be a little bit weird. This one comes after Pharaoh and the assault tree on the left-hand side. And this, just like the M1A, this one could really be influenced by your playstyle. So if you like the Ash 12, it's kind of a weird weapon to use. It's pretty squirrely to use in automatic, and you can tap. It has PS12Bs, which are basically like AP20s, but you can throw them in full automatic mode. It has a fresh Rita, which if you don't know is like the best level 5 armor in the entire game. It comes with a Vulcan helmet. It comes with a Propital to instantly heal you. It has an AFAC. It's overall a really great kit. If you look at it, you just have to get beyond the Ash 12, right? It's also a suppressed Ash 12 with non-tracer ammunition, which is great for not getting refragged, right? If you're playing your corners well. So it's really up to personal preference. I would say just objectively looking at the kit and what it gets, it's an A tier kit, especially with the changes coming up because of the redut it has. However, if you hate the Ash 12, this one might quickly drop. The Ash also does have a flash, or not flashlight, excuse me, a laser on top of it, which will make your hip fire much better. And things are fairly CQB. I mean, on Bay, this kit would be phenomenal. However, it might be hard to use this on like Sawmill, like the more of the open map. So just keep that in mind. But that is your tier 7 kit right there. Up next for a tier 8 assault kit is Hotel. So Hotel, I would say effectively on paper, objectively is worse than Squall. You're going to be shooting a similar round, a slightly worse round. It's also a tracer round. You have a blast mitigation device instead of a suppressor. You have worse armor. You have level 5 armor, but it's worse. The redut just outclasses it. You have a worse grenade. Squall has better meds. This one, Hotel, you get a Perfotora, which will instantly stop your bleeds, and you get an adrenaline shot, which is a 60-second painkiller, versus Squall with a 5-minute painkiller and a heal over time attached to that. Objectively, Squall is just a better kit than Hotel. Now, you might just enjoy the Scar more than the Ash 12, and for that, it can move up for you. Or if you want to continue to push down the left-hand side of the tree, they're relatively similar to each other, and you just pick your personal preference. But objectively looking at them, Hotel is worse than Squall. All right, up next is Brigadier. Now, the HK, it shoots so freaking fast. It's probably one of the best weapons in Arena because of its high rate of fire. It's extremely controllable. But you're going to go ahead and get this kit with a suppressor and a 5.5A1. So effectively, it's just a better kit overall than the AUG kit that we did earlier, Kalter right here. It's just a direct upgrade, and it's also the one you get immediately after Kalter. It comes with a Grizzly, which is massive. The Grizzly will heal you to full faster than a Salua, and it can also stop anything in the game. You know, you can use it to fix your leg, fix a heavy bleed, fix a light bleed. So it's really big, and you'll effectively be meting much faster. Brigadier is a great kit and one of the best kits in the assault kit. The only downside I would say Brigadier has is it has standard painkillers. You don't get anything like a Propital or any like 5-minute use painkiller. So that kind of sucks. But other than that, Brigadier is a top tier kit. All right, our next tier 8 kit is called Mutant, and you guys are not going to be happy with what I do to this kit. I think this kit will probably be B tier, especially when the armor nerfs come in. If you look at the Mutant, it's a really poorly modified Mutant. It's going to kick like a bitch. It is a Mutant and it does have BP, but you got to think that when we use a Mutant in the standard game, it is fully modded. If you guys ever try using like a half modded Mutant, it's a bit obnoxious to use. It also is on standard painkillers. It doesn't have a headset. It's lacking a lot. If they can at least up the kit here, or at least up the Mutant or up the armor here, then this kit could easily fly up to S tier. But at the time being, I really think this kit is not that great, unfortunately. Like I said, you guys might hate me for that, but I would say go ahead and build this Mutant and test it in the shooting range, and then see if you really want to use that, because you're effectively not going to be able to hear very well while not having face armor. You're going to have poor armor overall and bad painkillers. I mean, if you love the Mutant, then by all means go for this, but otherwise I really do think this is probably a B kit. Now, it probably is it more so the top of B tier. I haven't necessarily organized these as where they should be in S, in A, in B. We're just going for overall where they should be at, and we haven't put anything in D tier in Assault. And what I'll say about Assault is, although CQB does seem to outshine it, I don't think Assault is bad by any means. I think a lot of other kits in other classes have it far worse than Assault does. So let's keep going. All right, up next is Eraser, and this is kind of like a troll kit. I don't know what BSG was thinking. Obviously the AVT, it's an annoying weapon to run into in the base game, but 15 round magazines and a World War II weapon for a tier, is this a tier 9 or a tier 10 kit? I think this is tier 10 if I'm not mistaken. It's just like, what are they thinking here? You don't get an assault rifle, you don't get a headset, you don't have face armor. It's just a bit of a troll kit, I gotta be entirely honest. Now, is it fun? Yeah, it's probably fun. It also comes with like Keter. Like, it's just a very, very odd kit. I don't know why they decided to do this, but if you like the AVT in the main game, you might enjoy this a lot. This will shred people in like Hex, people in Alt and stuff like that, but so will a lot of the other kits in here. So it's just up to personal preference. The AVT is far worse in Arena than it would be in like the standard game, just due to the super small magazines and the high rate of fire. you often end up in a lot of situations where you need to kill 2 people in the same magazine, sometimes 3 people in the same magazine. Let's say if you're playing like mid on airport or terminal or whatever it's called, the one with the airplane in the middle. So keep that in mind. I really do think the racer is B. That's what might get me in hot water as well, but I just don't think it's good. All right, at least with a racer, a tier 10 kit, it did come with a 5-minute painkiller, but Mouse is the final tier 10 kit in the assault tree, and it basically has a unusable cursed SA58 that weighs an absolute ton. It does come with a hex grid. It does come with headphones. We have an awful helmet to pair along with it. It doesn't have a 5-minute painkiller. It has a standard 60-second painkiller. You have small magazines. You have the bugged optic, which if this doesn't get changed, I mean, that SA58 is already going to have a lot of recoil. Combine that with the bug optic, giving it 3.5 times more visual recoil. You're not going to be able to hit shit. And so for this goes in D tier, our first D tier, and this rounds out assaults. If you just want to give a quick look at this, maybe think like, okay, I do like Kalter, I do like Brigadier, then maybe you want to go down that tree because they're in the same tree. Or maybe you really like Tutsan and you really like Breeze, you're going to go down that tree as well. But this is the final round out of the assault tree. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this tree, and we're going to start with CQB, and then we'll wipe CQB, and then we're going to go on to Scout, etc., etc., and then we'll come back at the end and compare all of the kits against each other and go ahead and move them into our final placings. I'll be streaming Arena all day, and you feel free to come shoot any questions you have with me. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys to an extent. I look forward to seeing you all on Discord, in the live stream, and in Arena. Peace out, guys.